everybody. Today, the last day of volume 3 of Lessons I've Learned, Leadership Through Failure. Why am I saying leadership through failure? Because most of the best lessons I've ever learned, at least tested, have been through the problems that have existed, that I have had to face. And I think that leadership through failure is a great way to help define today's topic. And it's how to cultivate radical accountability and how do you unlock peak team performance in that way. Well, let me start by telling you what is radical accountability. It's not just accountability. Let me read something to you. Our definition of radical accountability means not only doing what you'll say, doing what you'll do, but doing it and owning it, taking the responsibility for your thinking and your moods and your behavior and the results. It's doing what you say. Radical accountability can mean doing what you say you'll do when you'll say you'll do it, but it can also mean taking ownership, taking the responsibility. It can mean getting to the fundamental root of what your responsibility is. And it can include being able to justify your own thoughts, rationale, behavior, and actions. Being 100% responsible. So listen, here I am. I'm in Colorado. I ski a lot. I love extreme skiing. I'm up on a mountain. It's a nice day. I turn right instead of left, although I usually ski left, and I find myself in a very difficult area that's off the beaten track, that I shouldn't have turned on, that is closed, that is steep, the snow is uneven, it's incredibly vertical, and I am not prepared to do it. Suddenly, it starts to snow. The wind picks up. I'm freezing. I'm scared to death, and I am paralyzed with fear. How do I get down? And how do I get down safely? Well, first, there's no one to call on. I can complain. I can blame it on the wind. I can blame it on the weather and the cold and the mountain. But no one is listening. So what do? I have to get down. So I plan my next step in front of me because that's the best way I can think. And I begin to focus on how do I move? How do I move? How do I move? And as I move, I realize that in just a few short seconds, I can get down quite a bit of the mountain, much more than while I'm inching my way down as an alternative. So I let myself ski. I let myself go. I focus on movement, and somehow or another, I fall. Then I have to get up. And I have to do it again, and I'm more scared, but I keep doing it. And I look up and I say, look how far I've come. Sometimes getting down the mountain is just on you. So do it the only way you can, which should be the best way you can. But look, in business, radical accountability can be in debate or competition with the ideal of team. But we're saying how to use radical accountability with your team. How do you pull that off? Well, first of all, let me start with the accountable piece, the radical piece. And the radical piece is this. Put it on you. It's up to you. If you're in a job and you don't like your teammates and you are angry with your boss and the culture of the company is wrong, but you have to do something to accomplish, and you take the time and effort to complain about your teammates, to voice your disapproval of your culture, what are you accomplishing? You may be accomplishing bringing other people in your team into your mindset, and you may be responsible for demoralizing those people. But what I'm sure you won't be doing is building an approach to success. And you have to recognize that everything that happens to you or around you doesn't matter to what the result you need to do yourself to get to the bottom of that mountain. So you have to take wholly and full responsibility. Blanchard years ago wrote a book about monkeys and how people in business take the monkeys off their back and put it onto somebody else's back. And that oftentimes within an organization, the dynamic is how everybody is taking the monkey off their back and trying to pass it on to somebody else. Radical accountability is the opposite of that. It is not taking the monkey off your back. It's owning this all the way from the beginning to the end, radically. I own it. I don't care what I'm facing. I don't care what the climate is. I don't care what I like and I do not like. I have a mission and I am going to get to the end of that mission. All right. But if every single person on a team recognizes that they have a mission, but all they do is their portion of the mission and accept the fact that they maybe won't get to the end because someone else on their team didn't do their job. Is that okay? Are you being responsible? Are you holding yourself accountable that if someone else fails on your team, even though you've fully performed in what was required of you within the context of the overall mission, are you doing it right? Is that okay? And I say that's not okay. I'm saying that if I have a team of 5 people and if 5 people all own the outcome, not just the portion of the outcome that or the mission which is theirs, but own it all, then they can drive the emotion of that team to a higher level of performance, and they can make it clear that within the context of the 5 performance team with high expectations, that their expectations are the same expectations that everybody else should have. And if everybody comes at it with that intense performance, I believe that is radical accountability and how to unlock peak team performance. Take your energy, take your spirit, take the recognition, bring the recognition to the group that you're going to make darn sure that the outcome that you all are looking for, that you are going to overmanage yourself within that process. Now, I didn't say overmanage someone else in that process, because that's where a team breaks down. If I begin to push you aside because I can do that too, now I'm not living within the context of team. But I can do my job. I can participate where people are willing to take it in, to let me encourage them within the team to do more. And I can remain a part of a culture that is, its expectations are extremely high. Then I have a team of equality, but a team performing together and a team wanting to push each other to greater performance. But let me back off a minute and let me talk about this. What if my personality is so dominant in that I demean or degrade the ability of others to perform. Am I being radically accountable? No, I am not being radically accountable. I must own how I can fit into the team in a positive way. So if I am the best performer individually on that team and I am terrible at communicating, I have failed at being radically accountable. So even though I am a great performer, I can be the worst influence on the team. So who owns that? I own it. I have to fix it. I have to solve my situation within the context of the team. It's not about how I feel about the team. It's about how I feel. All right, let me take you one more step. How do you teach radical accountability in an environment that where people have come from different organizations, where their responsibility has been limited, where they may have been siloed, where they've only been a part of the full equation towards the formula of success? How do you retrain those people? Well, in my opinion, one of the key indicators where people have been trained out of being radically accountable is when people have a hard time making decisions. So I kind of use decision making as a baseline for how you teach someone to be radically accountable. In other words, you have to force within your organization the idea that everyone needs to make decisions when they're faced with the question. So I like to say this, that in an organization that I run effectively, where I have the full cultural and management control, I want to teach an organization to be comfortable saying yes. I want to teach them that saying no doesn't help us. Saying yes moves us. I want to teach them that making decisions are what we do, and that if we make the wrong decision, then we'll make a different decision later. But make decisions, be comfortable saying yes. Don't feel that you're under attack. Don't feel that you're being judged. We all live within that moment. And if we understand the context of the goal and the outcomes we want and the necessity to integrate properly with a team, but we own it all, then we should be comfortable making decisions. But you have to pound it into people that they must make the decision. They will take the monkey off their back as often as they can and bring it to you, that decision-making monkey, if you let them. So every time someone says, "What's your opinion?" I believe what they're really saying is, "Will you make the decision for me?" And I will say, "I will give you my opinion, and I will not make your decision. You make your decision." I don't care what level I am on in an organization versus someone else. It has nothing to do with who is in front of the decision to be made. And by making a decision and forcing each of us to do that, we force ownership and accountability. Now, let me end with this. To be able to make decisions, to be able to be comfortable saying yes, we have to know what the company believes in and what we believe in. We have to know what our brain is about. What are our standards? How do they fit with the company's standards? And what are the goals of the company? And where do I fit in that context? So with that, If you bring all that together and you begin the discussion with your team, meaning if it's a team or a company, however you may define it, you then can unlock peak team performance and you can cultivate radical accountability. That's what I got for you today in the last show of Volume 3, Leadership Through Failure, Lessons I've Learned. I look forward to seeing you in the middle of July. We're going to take a month or so off here, and we're going to kind of reform ourselves into the next generation of lessons I've learned in a very exciting way to go through the rest of the summer and into the rest of the year. With that, everyone, take care, enjoy yourself, and I hope this helped you understand some of the terminology and behaviors necessary in today's world. Take care.